again, this is really it. It's not a plan. There was no plan. There still is no plan. And there should be. And if I had a plan, I'd have done a lot better. But I didn't. And I'm quite organised in my head, but I'm messy as a person. I know that. But I know what the end result needs to be, but I don't know how to fill in the gaps on the way. So you improvise and you make things happen. I used to go to Bramley Garage as a little boy, and for me it was the best place in the world. And Graham Cook was there, and I used to ask him if I could have a sit in the car, and he used to let me sit in his Daytona Spider. And it's like, oh yeah, this is like spectacular. And I'd be sitting there, could just about see over the steering wheel. And then as I became a teenager, I used to go back and then still have another look at the car. And then I asked him if I could buy it one day. He said, you need to go and get a job first, son. So I went, all right. And he's still a friend today. And he mentored me since I got in the business. And I am very lucky, and I'm very privileged to have people like that who I can then, you know, he phoned me up one day after I moved to Wandsworth. He said, I've got a car here, boy, that's perfect for you. I said, great. He said, don't suppose you've got any money there, have you? I said, no. He said, come and pick it up and pay me in 6 weeks. And, or if you sell it sooner, bring me a cheque. I said, great. And I was sort of stuttering. I didn't really want to say it. I said, what if I haven't sold it in 6 weeks? I said, that's simple. You're not doing the bloody job properly then, are you? I went, no, that's fine. And 2 weeks later, had it sold, brought him a cheque, and he gave me another car. And it was great. So I was very lucky because I had people like that who not only helped me to get going, but they also were at the end of the phone that I could talk to and trust, and showed me what, how, and learn from them.
But you got people to believe in you.
Yeah, I was lucky.
People wanted to support and believe in you. So you must have had something that showed in that kind of drive and ambition that people wanted to support.
I never looked at it that way, Darren. You know, for me, I just thought I was lucky because the reality is he wanted to help me out. He wanted to, you know, and I'd known him all my life. I'd always been brought up in a way that you shake hands, this deal is done. You have to do things in a correct way. And if you do things like that, then you can only be judged that way. And many times people have done the opposite with me. That's life. You know, you hold a grudge, absolutely. You know, but then eventually it fades. The point is you have to do it by your own standards. And even the guys who work here, we have a philosophy that the deal has to be a win-win. You've got to be able to sit in the other person's chair and be comfortable. And if you can do that, then everyone's happy. If you can't, then don't do the deal because it's not sustainable. And that way we keep 90% repeat business.
I was just about to say, because a lot of your customers now are long-term customers and even friends.
I'm so lucky. I've met the best people in my life through work. And I've made my best friends through work. And I wouldn't have it any other way. And it's fab because, yes, we're running a business and we're entitled to make a living. However, if you don't pull people's eyes out, just be fair. Everyone goes forward. They leave with what they want. We've served them, and you know what? We're comfortable when they come back, and then we all sit together. If something goes wrong, we fix it. You know, we're all human. We all make mistakes, but you try and minimise the mistake value by trying to have an eye for detail.
Part of what you do, as well as obviously buying and selling, is maintenance, restoring. As well. I mean, how much of your business is that, and do you enjoy doing that and getting involved in any of those sort of rebuilds?
So the restoration classic side of the business is probably my weakness. It's the one that we lose the most money at because I spend far too much time on every car, and I adore it. And when you put something back together that's older than you, and you then drive it for the first time, and you know you start just getting it right, you just think, yeah, life's all right. And there's something about a classic car, whether it's a 60s Fiat 500 or a Ferrari or a Lamborghini Miura, that makes you smile. And when that makes you smile, I still, in my heart, am a collector because I still look at a beautiful car and it still takes my breath away. And while it does that, then I'm happy doing what I'm doing. And I think, again, if I wasn't such a lover of the cars, I would do better in my business. Because then I would have no emotional attachment, because occasionally I do struggle to let someone have a car that I don't really like. No, I have, and I've actually turned people down before. Oh, very much so, yeah. And I've sent them to some of the enemy, because, you know, the reality is they didn't deserve those cars.
Toss that one in there.
You know, and yeah, they didn't deserve them.
Okay.
So, and they weren't the right cars for them.
So what kind of cars are the ones that you've really struggled to let go?
It's not the car, it was a combination of the car and the person.
Yeah, but I can't ask you who were the people that you've sent away, so the only question I can ask is about the cars then.
I could quite happily tell you about
well,
the person,
maybe.
perhaps.
It
do you want his
like
name, address and passport number?
It sounds like a bit of a mad statement that you made there, Joe, but actually I think I would put the stamp of credibility on that, because I remember going back into the 2000s and you'd call me and you'd say, I've got this customer here, and I go, okay, fine, well, what's he buying? And you'd say to me, I haven't decided what I'm going to let him buy yet. Yeah. It kind of goes along with that.
It's certain cars should go with certain people, and that's it. And sometimes the people don't know, and we had a little bit of a problem early doors with a restoration with the chairman of the RAC club, actually. He had a PF Cabriolet Series 2, and he's my great friend, and I love the man to pieces, and he wanted it painted in red. And I painted it this most beautiful dark grey without telling him I forgot. And he came to see it for the first time, and he took the cover off it, and he looked at it, and he said, I said, what do you think, Peter? He goes, it's beautiful. He said, but didn't we discuss red? I said, we mentioned it. And he said, it's great. I said, don't you like it? He said, it's just beautiful. I said, so why are we having the conversation? So, yeah, okay. He said, well, I'd like black interior. But I'd already trimmed it in a beautiful, rich Bordeaux. And I said, well, you can have red. He said, no, I'd like black. I said, I think you should have red. So I gave him some choices of some Bordeaux, because he hadn't actually seen it trimmed. And, you know, they were actually all the same leather. But he picked the one that he wanted, and he obviously kept it this time, so that way I couldn't sort of hoodwink him. And so then when he came to see the car finished, he actually took his nice piece of leather out, he put it next to the car, and he said, look how well I've done. Isn't that beautiful? I've chosen so well. And he did, he chose beautifully at one concourse at Hurlingham. And then he sold it, and he regrets it every day. But he wasn't, look, he wears yellow trousers and a red shirt on a Saturday morning. Do you think I was going to let him choose the colour of a classic Ferrari? There was no way on earth that he was capable of doing that. Yeah. He's one of the loveliest men in the world, but that was not his strength.
No. Yeah.
So that was that.
You helped.
Aided. And you know what? He was thrilled.